There are over 100 Sonic games that have been made available for the public. Some of the Sonic games are extremely popular, other Sonic games no one really knows too much information on them, but for this video, I want to go over what might be the rarest Sonic game to probably ever exist. Let's get started. In early 2024, a man named Rockman Cosmo has just made a major announcement regarding a breakthrough in the attempt to preserve and document forgotten mobile games. That game being an old Sonic the Hedgehog card game from the mid to late 2000s. This among the latest batch of titles that have been rediscovered in the past few years. I recommend checking out Rockman Cosmo Twitter X page when you get a chance. He spends a lot of time rediscovering and preserving phone games mostly from Japan. In the Twitter X posts, Cosmo explained that XYZ is another important member of the ongoing efforts to save Japanese featured phone games. In the same post, Cosmo also credited 2 more people with eventually getting the game up and running on the emulator. The text also goes over additional sample games that were also made available. Sonic no Defugo is a Japanese mobile game released on these platforms between 2005 and 2008. Basically, this game got released before smartphones started dominating the market shortly afterwards. When you first look at the game, it's honestly nothing too special. It just looks like a regular card game on an old school phone that has Sonic characters in it. The overview of the Sonic Defugo game is that it is a take on Japanese card game Millionaire, where players must get rid of all their cards as fast as possible by playing stronger cards than their opponent. This is known as a card climbing genre. A good example of a popular Western game similar to Defugo is President. This Sonic game was downloadable through the Sonic Cafe online portal. Sonic Cafe is a Sega mobile phone game service in Japan that has you pay a monthly fee and in return lets you browse, download, and play games. This game service closed on December 1st, 2007 and was replaced by Puyo Puyo Sega. That service also ended in March of 2022. Let me briefly go over the gameplay. The Sonic card game doesn't really stand out, which is understandable with the limited technology back then for mobile gaming. When you first start up the game, you're introduced to this common music in the beginning. Just listen. Then the game starts. You play as the main character Sonic, and you're playing against Knuckles, Amy, and Tails. This is one of the few Sonic games that doesn't have Dr. Eggman in it. Usually Defugo is played between 3 to 6 players, but for this mobile game, it only lets you play up to 4 characters. A standard deck of cards is 52, but for this game, the Joker is being used, which makes the game 53 playable cards. This is the rank of cards from lowest to highest, the 3 being the lowest and the 2 being the highest. The Joker acts as a wild card and can be used as any card. Some players may have more cards than others. For this example, Sonic has 14 cards while everyone else starts off with 13. The game always starts out in clockwise order. Here are some of the valid plays that you can do. Use any single card. A single card can only be beaten by a higher single card. A pair. 2 cards of the same rank, a higher pair can beat a lower pair. 3 of a kind. 3 cards of the same rank, a higher triplet beats a lower triplet. An example of a triplet is 2-2-2 being the highest triplet and the lowest is 3-3-3. 4 of a kind. 4 cards of the same rank, and a sequence. 3 or more consecutive cards of the same suit, such as Spade 4, Spade 5, Spade 6, or Diamond 10, Diamond Jack, Diamond Queen. A sequence can only be beaten by a higher sequence containing the same number of cards. The highest 3-card sequence is King Ace 2, and the lowest is 3-4-5. Ace, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4 are not valid sequences since the 2 and 3 are not adjacent in the game. If a player doesn't have a card or a combination to put down, they simply pass their turn. The objective is to get rid of all your cards. When a player runs out of cards, the play continues among the other players until only one player has cards left. When you play with 3 or 4 players, the winner, who runs out of cards first, is the Fugo, and the loser, who is left with cards at the end, is the He-Mean. There's a lot of different variation and spin-off games that I won't get into, but you get the point. It's kind of ironic that Sonic is such a fast character in his other games, but for this game, Sonic needs to play it slow and take his time to see what combination moves he can use in this card game. Let me hear your opinion. Do you think that this is the rarest Sonic game out there? Or do you know any other Sonic games no one really knows about? Let me know in the comment section. That's going to wrap up this video. See you next time, and thanks for watching.